he pretty much writes all the music and we just learn it. But because I do all the like the mixing and recording and engineering, I have like that producer brain. So like I could throw him suggestions like, let's try, this chord and the progression instead of that. It just, makes more sense and has more of, I don't know, a better like emotional impact, maybe. So we all take that into consideration and kind of it changes a bit from his initial idea, but in the end, it all works.
Hey, you wanna do something? You know I'm off for the weekend. Hey, let's do something.
Listen to the vibes.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Listen to the Vibes, and I'm very happy to welcome the band TrancEnd. Tell me a little bit about your music, because it's different than any other prog I've ever listened to, and I was reading it was a touch of trip-hop. What in the world is that?
Well, trip hop is a style of music that was formed in the early 90s in the UK, especially Bristol. That's where it originated from. And it was made very, very popular with bands like Portishead, Massive Attack, Hooverphonic from Belgium. And it's a style of music that combines various elements of other genres of music, such as hip hop, jazz, acid house, electronic, stuff like that.
What made you get into this kind of music?
Well, I actually grew up listening to some of these bands like Portishead. My dad would just spin their records in the house growing up when I was growing up all the time, and I listened to a lot of Portishead along with like Bjork and some Massive Attack a lot when I was a kid. So I grew up listening to that kind of stuff, and it's intriguing to me.
You talked the rest of them into it?
Basically.
Just about.
I suppose, in a way.
I'd never heard of it until I came across Evan. So
how did you get into the band, Brittany?
I was moving to North Carolina and I was on Craigslist looking for apartments and found an ad seeking a vocalist. And I had used to sing in Florida, just little gigs around town. And I thought it'd be a good way to make friends. So I replied to their ad.
What kind of music were you into, Brittany?
I love musical theater, pop, punk. I kind of listen to most things, not quite like metal, and which is funny because these boys are metalheads.
Yeah.
Yes.
Heck yeah. Well, tell me about the music itself on this album. What was your inspiration, and what is your process of making these songs?
Well, I would say, again, the first album by Portishead, Dummy, which came out in 94, and then the debut album by Hooverphonic back in 1996. Those two albums were some of my biggest inspirations when it comes to writing music for the album. And I sit down with myself and write the music, and I just create things spontaneously, and then just the music kind of creates itself a little bit along the way. And I like to do a lot of lush and ambient layers and textures, along with a good groove and some melodies in the music, as you can tell listening to our album.
Yeah, a lot of soundscapes.
Yeah.
Like you're painting a picture.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
Basically.
Yeah. Now, Brittany, are you pretty much the one who does all the lyrics?
Yes. Yep. So when I found them on Craigslist, he already had the whole album composed,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's on SoundCloud. So every single song was on SoundCloud, and I just wrote the lyrics, melodies off of that. And then when we went to the studio with it, figured out some harmonies.
If you're listening to one of those songs, how do the lyrics come to you?
I used his working titles and kind of built the song based off of whatever his title was. Each song was a little different. Some of them came pretty easy. I'd like drive in the car or something and a little lyric would come to mind, and then I just kind of build it off of that. And then sometimes I would have to like actually just sit and try to zone in and kind of block everything else out and just follow whatever path opens, I guess.
How did y'all come up with the name of the album?
There's
It
a
was
lyric in the first song, it's Lilac in the Desert, and so we just went with Lilac. It seemed visually pleasing to me. I'm a very visual thinker, so I had my sister do the album art based off of the lyric, and we just went with it.
Yep.
It's pretty cool. Turned out great. I
Easy
like
to
it.
remember.
But did you have a particular theme when you came up with this album?
I just wanted it to be empowering, more higher self. I feel like a lot of people sing about trials and tribulations and love and loss, and I just kind of wanted it to be a step above that, more esoteric in a sense. Or a lot of the songs are about like your higher being, your higher self, more than just your physical entity and the little things that are going on in human life. So yeah, pretty much every single song,
Well,
if not every single song, has something to do with that.
I wrote the lyrics to one of the songs, which is the song entitled "Another Day." I wrote the lyrics for that one, and that song is about how you want to choose to live your life every day, about making choices.
When I was listening to it, it was like, to me, Styx meets the Gorillas.
Cool.
Have you been compared to any other bands?
Vocally, a lot of people say I sound like Evanescence. I get that the most.
That came across
Yeah.
my mind,
Yeah.
actually.
Nice.
Yep.
But as far as our sound as a band, I feel like it's fairly unique, and people will try to tie it into something that they're familiar with. Nothing comes to mind though of no bands that anyone's mentioned where I'm like, yeah, you might be right there.
So you guys brothers?
Yes, all three of us.
All
Yep.
three of you are brothers.
It's funny
huh?
because, oh yeah,
That's right.
like literally everywhere we go, people always, oh, you guys triplets? You guys brothers? We're like, yep. We're like the 1,000 times. And
Right.
I feel like sometimes we should screw with people. Sometimes like, no, we don't even know each other. We just met. Oh, it'd be funny. It's like, no way.
Well, what's the writing process like between you two? Do you sometimes argue about, no, I want it this way, or does it flow pretty easily?
Well, he pretty much writes all the music, and we just learn it. But because I do all the mixing and recording and engineering, I have like that producer brain. So like I could throw him suggestions, like, let's try this chord and the progression instead of that. 'Cause it just makes more sense and has more of, I don't know, a better like emotional impact maybe. So we all take that into consideration, and kind of it changes a bit from his initial idea, but in the end, it all works.
So what's it like having brothers in the band? Do y'all have like a competition going? Do you do your regular fighting like you do between brothers, or how is that?
Oh
No,
no.
Not at all.
No,
Not at all.
we get along just great. We're all glad we have each other, because it would certainly would be a lot harder to do this
Yeah.
if we were we see each other every day. We're always doing music stuff. Yeah, it definitely makes it a lot easier.
You don't get sick of each other?
Oh no.
No, we get along very well. It's very smooth sailing all the time.
Yeah, and the times when we do like argue a little bit, it's just over silly stuff. It's never like, I hate you, stuff like that. We're all cool with each other.
Our mom will come in and whoop your butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess you're the drummer here on my
Yep.
left.
Yeah.
You're the
Yeah.
quiet one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just a drummer.
Yeah,
Just the drummer, just the guy in the background.
Well, I pretty much emulate the parts that Evan writes because Evan composes all the music, and I emulate it. I sit down, learn the songs by ear, and since I'm the drummer, I have a drummer's brain and a drummer's touch, so I'll have free reign to just add some of my own special touches to some of the songs and certain parts that weren't originally composed by Evan that are tastefully done.
Brittany,
Yes.
what's it like being in a band with all these brothers?
It's interesting.
Uh,
Yeah, I've never experienced a band that produces music like they do. So it's been a learning curve, I feel like. Most bands that I've experienced, you kind of all collaborate and everyone pitches in their own part, but Evan is kind of the mastermind behind all of this, and they're each so good at their own things. Like Ian produces electronic music, Zach with his mixing and mastering skills. So they all have their own little things, but for this specific project, Evan is kind of like the brains there. But yeah, there are a few things that are difficult with it. Just they're all together all the time, which is easier. And I mean, yeah, things that are easier. That's easy. Scheduling, being able to just go and know that they're there and they all have the same schedule. It's nice for rehearsals and for playing shows and stuff. Whereas there's no like 5 different people trying to figure out what
Yeah.
they're doing, you know?
Yeah. Did they treat you like little sister?
Oh, for sure. But I'm big sister.
Oh, you're big
Big
sister.
I'm older than you by 10 days. What are you talking about?
No, I don't have any family in North Carolina, so they're my North Carolina family for sure.
You said you're originally from Florida?
Yep, whole family's there.
What part of Florida, if you don't mind me asking?
It's called Titusville. It's Port Canaveral, about an hour east of Orlando, south of Daytona, north of Cocoa Beach. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's where NASA is. Space.
But actually, all of us were originally from Michigan.
Michigan. Go Wolverines.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. Go blue.
Yeah, that's right.
Actually, it'd be a good point to kind of take it back before our time. So our parents, they used to play in a band together. That's how they met. And so they played all over Detroit. They were doing like a top 40 thing, playing all the top 40 stuff at the time. Really, really good. In that band, my dad played bass, my mom sang. Then my dad also had his own band. It was like progressive rock thing, really cool. It's called the Jacob's Ladder. And we still have they had like recordings, and we still have them on a computer somewhere. Really like listening to it. It's actually like really, really good. And like we listened to it, I'm like, man, that's our dad singing. Yeah, they played all over the Metro Detroit area. They had actually quite a following. And I guess that's kind of that helps us later, like before we got into music, like it was never forced on us, like you're gonna learn an instrument and all that. But it certainly helped when we actually did want to get into it. Them being musicians, they were actually very supportive, since day one.
Yeah.
And actually, they actually got us a Guitar Hero for Christmas one year, and that really was kind of pushed us in that direction. Like after playing that for a good while, we're like, can we get like a real guitar? I want to try the real thing.
Right.
Let's see, how long ago was that now? I think probably about 15 years.
How'd you guys end up going from Michigan to the Carolinas?
Well, we were basically sick of the winters here in Michigan.
Yeah.
Just like, we're done. We can't do this. Having the pipes freeze, all the snow. We're done. It's time for a change. So we actually, I think 2014, yeah, we took a vacation down here to Asheville. And we loved the mountains. We thought it was a really cool area. So my dad actually ended up getting the job offer down here in Asheville. So he left the next year. So he was down here a couple months before we were. And, I think it's been this year in October. It'll be 8 years we've been down here. We love it.
So what do you guys like to do outside of music?
Well, I'm a craft beer enthusiast. I do enjoy drinking beer and going out to all the different breweries and stuff.
Oh
Nice.
I study foreign language. I'm self-taught Russian for about 12 years now, and I also dabble in Finnish and Korean.
yeah. He's actually really good at it. Like he has friends he's talked to, like in Russia,
Wow.
and like they understand each other. And I guess anytime we're out, and he comes across someone that's like from Ukraine or Russia, and he starts speaking it, they're actually usually really impressed.
What about you, Brittany? What do you like to do outside of music?
I love to garden.
Oh,
So
nice.
I've garden stuff at my house and chickens and
That's right up my alley.
be outdoors and have my hands in the soil.
It's a lot of
Like,
vegetables.
man, her strawberries, her strawberries are amazing.
Really?
Yes.
Oh yeah, better than any. I tell it, better than any store-bought strawberries I've ever had. Just so ripe, perfect.
Man, you should sell some on the market.
Hey, one
Yeah.
day. That's a goal. That's a goal. Right now, I'm just trying to grow
yeah.
for the family. So
Shoot,
I
it's-
have a lot of fruits and vegetables. I'm trying to sort of create a homestead. So I have
Yeah.
raspberries, blueberries, elderberry, goji berry, cherries, and then vegetable garden, tomatoes, squash, zucchini, corn, beans, beets, carrots. A lot of stuff.
What's been the biggest obstacle you've had to overcome in your life?
In my life,
Ooh.
Well, I know exactly what we're gonna say.
myself. I have my own obstacle. Yes, definitely. I mean, realistically, just normal growing up, figuring out who I am and what I want to do. And I feel like all through high school, I was kind of pressured into going to college and get a profession, have a professional career. And so I didn't really pursue music. I just kind of did musical theater for fun. And I went to college and did little gigs on the side, like acoustic, beach bar type stuff. Then didn't do anything for a while and graduated college and didn't want to do anything with my degree. It was in communications. I use it, I mean, very little, but I guess it's helpful for music as well. But yeah, then after that, it's just like, what am I doing? What am I doing here? What do I want to do? What gives me purpose? And then I was out in Oregon. I was working on a farm in Oregon for a few years, and that was very difficult, just overcoming the stresses of the job itself. And it was a family run business, so that was tough. Moved here from Oregon and kind of figured out that music is something I missed in Oregon. I didn't have time to do music, and it was like, okay, well, I guess that's important to me. So when I moved here, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to audition for this group. Try to get back into it and see if that gave me a little bit more purpose in life. And so it's been super helpful. But yeah, just figuring myself out, I would say, has been my greatest struggle.
All right, you guys can fight it out. Who wants to answer first?
All right,
Probably
I'll
the
go.
same answer.
Yeah. Okay, our biggest obstacle in life is our vision. The three of us have a genetic condition called choroideremia, and essentially we're going blind. It's genetic, is passed down from mothers to sons, and basically it's a degenerative disease, where the first symptoms usually manifest in early childhood, and that's severe night blindness. Like we cannot hardly see in low light environments at all. So some of the places we're at when we're playing are usually pretty dim, so we need someone to help us. Like Brittany is usually really good about taking us to where we need to be in the venue, and that's pretty much the challenge there. And also because our vision, we don't drive, so we have to rely on our parents or someone like Brittany to like take us everywhere. I and I don't know. I feel like I don't want to say like burden, but I don't want to feel like I'm a burden to people. Because I gotta drive them, take them there, blah blah blah, and yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
And obviously,
Especially in this industry.
oh yeah, and being like stuck pretty much in the house like all the time. Living in Michigan, we were like in the middle of nowhere on 10 acres, so we didn't really go out too much. The furthest grocery store is like 30 minutes away. So yeah, it's just a little tough, but there's nothing we can do about that. So why worry about it too much? And the good thing about this, we actually ended up getting into a study in we go to Miami.
Mhm.
It's a study specifically on this condition. And we ended up getting into the clinical trials for this. And we had surgery on our eyes, and it was basically like a gene therapy type thing where they would do surgery, inject the vector, and it's long term. This I think we had it done about 5 years ago. It's a long term study, so we've had to go back usually every 6 months. We're almost done, thankfully, because we do not enjoy going there.
Imagine.
Yeah, I think our last one for this study is coming up in like December, January, and we'll be done. And what this was, the purpose of the surgery was to hopefully halt the progression of our vision loss.
Yeah.
And keep it stable, so then they can go forward and start working on, something to reverse the loss.
Have y'all ever sat and thought about if that day comes that you lose your vision, are you going to keep playing?
Oh yeah,
Oh, absolutely.
forever. I'm gonna be playing music to the day I die.
Yeah,
You guys have a website.
we do. It is transcend.band.
Okay. And what about social media?
Oh yeah, we're on all of them: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok,
YouTube,
YouTube,
Bandcamp.
TrancEnd band.
Bandcamp.
There's a link tree too that has all of the links.
Well, I will be putting all those links in the description, so make it easy for people to find you.
Mhm.
And so I thank you guys for coming on. I really do. And let me know when the next one comes out so we can have you back on.
Yeah, we're
Absolutely.
working on a single right now, so
Thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it. This is cool.
Yeah,
yeah,
thank
I'm
you.
glad you could be here today.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I also want to thank all you folks out there. If you are new to the channel, I hope you'll come back, hit that subscribe button. And for my regulars, you guys rock because you make it possible for me to do this. Until the next one, everyone, please take care. Be kind to one another. God bless and peace.
Do, do, do.